I'm sorry. It still cracks me up. Okay, so I'm talking to your sister on Facebook Messenger. I don't know why she cannot take the day off and join us. I mean, seriously, I know she wanted to be here. But anyway, so I was asking her questions last Sunday. I was at work. I was bored, and she was there, so we asked questions on it. And so let me see. She told me I can ask you questions too, but most of it I already asked you about you two are siblings. Oh, I know what it was. Now, do you two share responsibilities in writing the songs, and how does that work?
Yeah. So generally, Marissa will have a melodic idea that she's come up with. Sometimes can be really lucky, and she's already got some vocals ready to go. Then she'll bring that along with her, and we rehearse every Monday night. And I think that's where the magic really happens. Every song that we've sort of written has been written in rehearsal, and it's really funny. Whenever we've got a big show coming up, we find ourselves still composing when we probably shouldn't be. We should probably just be practicing our set. But it's just uncanny that, you know, we'll have some real like a real creative streak come through, and yeah, we'll end up not practicing as much as we probably should have. But you know, that's just it happens when it happens. And I think most of the magic happens when we're in rehearsal, and you know, we talk things through. And I've actually also been really lucky to have a really good producer that we work with, that when we do pre-production with him, he just really makes us think in ways that we probably wouldn't always think, and I think that makes a big difference in bringing what is our ideas or what is our song, really bringing it to life and making it the sound that we sort of produce now.
That's good.
I hear where you're coming from in the as far as always writing in the studio. Like I've just finished up a new album of my own, but before I'd had it finished, I had a show that came up, and I was trying to balance, because I have a daughter who's almost a year and a half old, and I have to balance responsibilities with her and recording for this new album, so it's writing things there, and also trying to rehearse as one person for the show coming up, and it's just, it's mind-boggling trying to get everything done.
Definitely, you feel like you just don't have enough time.
And then add the co-host to your things to do list too.
Yeah, that was on top of it too. Boy, working hard.
Yes, you are.
But it's like you want to rehearse for the show because you want to have a great show, but then you're thinking, oh, I still got to record this other track. I got this lyric idea. I got to write that down real quick. And then you're sidetracked on something else, and then maybe you hear a melody and you want to put that melody down. And it's got nothing to do with what you're writing at the time. It's something else. So it's easy to get sidetracked.
Yeah, it's like, and you know, when you asked about how we sort of write, so this new single, Thoughts, Marissa actually wrote the melody 17 years ago when she was a little 13-year-old, and she'd never been able to finish it, and she was just one afternoon she said to me, she called me and she said, and this is just after we actually recorded another song which we'll release down the track, but so she came up with this other song, and she was like, she sent it to, before that she said, I'm going to sit down today, I'm going to write a record. And I was like, oh yeah, well, isn't that what you normally do? And she said, no. She said, I'm actually going to sit down and I'm really going to try and write a record, try and put myself in a good space and write a record. And she ended up sitting down, and this idea came back to her, which, you know, is 13 years old, and 17 years old, and she finally, the chorus came to her and the vocals came to her, and that evening she sent me, you know, a rough iPhone recording, and I was just, bang, I was like, yep, we're doing that song. The other one can wait, we're going back to the studio. And I think it was a financially difficult decision to make, because it's not cheap recording, but was something that had to happen. So I'm actually really excited to get this song out there because it was just a song that as soon as I heard it, and this is just a crappy iPhone recording, I was like, oh, wow, it just stopped me in my tracks. So, yeah, I'm really excited for it to get out there, and it's just great that something that's taken 17 years to finish is the next song that'll be coming out. So it's kind of exciting, and I think it's extra special for Marissa in that, an adolescent Marissa wrote this song, and now as a 30-year-old, she's finished it. So, yeah.
She's 30? She doesn't look 30. She still looks like she's in her 20s.
She'd be happy to hear that.
I'm 42, so... Now, I know that you play the drums, and what else do you do besides the drums, and what does she does, instrument-wise?
To be honest, mine's mainly just the drums. Do a bit of, electronic sort of stuff as well, so sampling and things like that. And on... I've now had my arm twisted into doing a bit of backing vocals, which is really quite daunting. But it's something new, and it was funny when we were in the studio finishing Thoughts off, and there was a harmony bit, and I'm like, oh, we should put a harmony there. And I said, and it was quite a difficult harmony. I said, I'll do it. And then I just could not get this harmony, so I was just like, nah, scrap that, Marissa, it's all yours. So it's still a work in progress, but it's quite funny how it came about, actually, because in Australia we have a youth choir, like an Australian youth choir, and they used to come to the primary schools and they'd get you to sing the national anthem, and then they might give you a note to come and do a proper audition. And, I really didn't think I was a singer or anything like that. And Marissa, on the other hand, really loved her music, and so she never got one of those notes. And then it was only at Christmas this year that I said, yeah, I got that note. And so it all started from there, and then Marissa's like, well, that's it, you're singing now. And I was like, oh, geez, what have I done to myself? But, typical sibling rivalry, just, putting crap on each other, and now it's ended up with me having to sing sometimes. So it's a bit scary. I feel a bit like Phil Collins, which, I'm just like, but yeah, it's a work in progress. So we'll see how that goes.
So do you sing a little bit on Thought, the next single coming out?
Yeah, no, on the one that will come out after that.
Okay.
A couple of little vocal lines.
Okay.
Just pacing yourself, just gonna ease into it.
Yeah, just nice and slow. Slow and steady wins the race.
Okay, so I'm looking on Facebook real quick. About some questions I asked her on Facebook. We talked about touring already, and your sibling rival that you guys don't really have anything except for you singing.
Yeah. I had to have something. Typical younger brother.
Yes. Well, see, I'm the oldest girl on our with three younger brothers, so yeah, and I'm the shortest. Yeah, so they I don't dominate them at all, but they kind of like dominate me because, like I said, I'm the shortest. I'm the only girl. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so like back on that question of what instruments do I play? Like that's pretty much how it all works. And then Marissa's pretty much taking care of everything else that's melodic. On the next single she plays. So we actually recorded with a grand piano. Also just with a regular synthesizer. She did guitar on it, bass guitar on it. So yeah, she's just a jack of all trades. I'm just the drummer boy, and she's the one woman band without a drummer. So how we work well together.
Well, you guys do more than that. I mean, you guys also support each other too.
Oh, definitely. And I think if Marissa, it's really funny when we play live and we do, for example, a guitar song. Marissa actually has a Moog Taurus pedal, which is like a big bass synth pedals, and they're like organ pedals. So while she's playing guitar and singing, she's playing that with her feet, doing the bass line. So I just look at her and I go, "You're just a freak." Like, what else do you want to do? Do you want a kazoo in your mouth as well? Like, it's amazing to watch. And I think, I just feel really fortunate to work with her and to create stuff that we do together. It's just great fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Spider, have anything else you want to say? Ask him a question about?
Oh, let's see. As far as you mentioned a little bit ago when you guys were putting together thoughts, you mentioned that that Marissa was going to write out the bare bones for an entire album's worth of music. How far along is that?
Well, I don't know. That was her goal, and I think she got kind of sidetracked after she finished thoughts. And, I don't know. The problem that we have is that we've got so many songs that we just write in rehearsal, and I mean, we've easily got an album's worth, but it's just financially not quite viable yet. But it's something that we're sort of working towards with that in mind. And I don't know how far along she is personally with what she was writing, but as a band, I'd say, we've easily got a full album's worth. But in saying that, in 3 weeks from now, I'll probably say that, we'll scrap 3 of those and here's 3 new ones. So it's really a work in progress all the time with us. And I think that's sort of just the way that we work. And I think, I remember having a meeting once with a record exec and she said, how many songs are you guys writing a year? I mean, how many songs are you writing per single? And Marissa was like, well, probably 20 songs per single that we record. And she was like, well, yeah, that's pretty much what we'd expect. And I was just like, well, I just sat back and I was like, well, lucky we write a lot when we're supposed to be practicing. So it works out well.
I can echo that again, as I remember maybe 2 or 3 albums ago, and it happens with a lot of my albums actually. I'll start writing and start putting together maybe just some stray songs, and then I'll start getting an idea in my head about, okay, I think I'm going to go with this theme, and I'll start arranging things into a theme, so I have almost an album's worth, and then maybe I'll say, oh, well, this song's not working, I'll replace it with something else. Replacing that one song changes the dynamic of the album, so then you have to replace more songs, and then you have to replace more songs, and then you add songs from the start that you took out before, and it's by the time you're finished, you've gone through like 3 albums to make just one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something that if you don't play music and if you don't record and things like that, you kind of don't really realise that that's what happens. You take for granted how hard musicians work to release, an album especially, but even to release one single, the amount of work that goes into that, and you've got 20-odd songs that you've had, and then bang, you're like, oh, finally I can settle on that one, and that's the one we want to do. I think that it's sort of one of those things that's done behind closed doors, and people don't quite understand how much goes into each single that comes out of a band.
Yeah. Putting on an album or performing at a show, it's a lot of work that people just don't understand. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the next song I have up here is called To Be or Not. Tell us a little bit about that one.
To Be or Not, again, is another really emotional and pulling on the heartstrings. For me, it was funny.